All right, Starlink Mini, this video is going to be dedicated to the Starlink Mini because if you're anything like us, you're probably thinking this could be the ultimate internet solution for traveling around Australia. But there are a few things to consider. We're going to go through all that and more in this video.
Absolutely. So, we've been traveling with the last few months. We're going to go through how to mount it, where to mount it, why we've done that, how to power it, pros, cons, performance, comparing it to other Starlinks that we've had in the past.
Yeah, so this video isn't supported or endorsed at all by Starlink. We're not paid by Starlink, but we do have an offer for you where you can get yourself a month free Starlink if you haven't got Starlink already. So stick around for that one, and also stick around and watch the ads.
Yeah, thank you so much to everyone who does watch the ads on our channel. 10% of all our ad revenue goes directly to charity. At the moment, we're donating directly to the Royal Flying Doctors, who are just such an essential service in this country. So thank you so much to everyone who has the time to watch the ads. Really do appreciate it.
Let's dive into it.
All right, let's get this back on the car before the kids lose it because they're on their iPads at the moment, and we unhooked it for them. They're giving me the eye. Is it ready yet? Yeah, they're giving me the evil eye. All right, let's go.
All right, so we did a video a couple of months ago comparing the different Starlink options on the market as far as hardware is concerned. We also went through all the different subscription plans and a bunch of other options when it comes to running those different hardwares off 12 volt and things to consider, different power consumptions, all of that. So if you want to know more about all of that, jump back, and I'll leave a thing up here and a link in the description, but jump back and watch that video if that's more what you're after. As we said, this video is going to be 100% dedicated just to the Starlink Mini. And we really think for the majority of travelers, Starlink Mini, which is relatively new, or the newest of the hardware that Starlink has brought out, is probably the best option. Couple of reasons for that. One is just its physical size. You can see how small it is. It is such a compact unit compared to the previous iterations of the Starlink hardware. Two is that the router is built into that dish. So there's just that one bit of hardware. There's nothing else to consider. It's literally give that dish power and you've got a Wi-Fi network, and away you go, providing you've got a subscription, of course. So we think those two things alone, its size, its weight, and just its convenience as being in that one compact little unit, makes it stand out far and above all the other options on the market. The other really big pro to the Starlink Mini is its power consumption and its relative ease to convert it to 12 volt, which for the majority of us, if you're going to be running it off your caravan, RV, car, portable battery unit like a Bluetti or something like that, which we'll talk more about later in this video, then it really is going to be your best option. Why would you want to put it on your car? Well, for us, putting it on the car means that we've got internet when we're away from camp because it's always on the car, internet when we're not camping with our caravan, where our Starlink was previously only running off the caravan. So it's handy to have internet when we're away from the van camping as well. And also means that we've got internet virtually anywhere, virtually 24/7 while in motion as well. So when it comes to mounting it, we really think if you're going to have some sort of semi-permanent installation like we do, putting it on your car is a really, really good option. If you don't want to do that though, it does come with a little kickstand, and you can just put the Starlink out wherever it suits you and plug it into your caravan, plug it in at home, plug it in wherever it is that you want to use that unit. So this is the little kickstand that it comes with. So this just slides into the dish. My dish is back up on the car to keep the kids happy. But yeah, this one just goes in and it just sits on the ground, and then you just roughly orientate it. And then this is your power pack. So 240 volt supply, cord goes in there. My cord's mounted in the car, so it's permanently in the car. But yeah, the same cord would just go into this and plug that into the power point, and it's as simple as that. First things first was figuring out where to mount it. For us, we've got the Rhino Rack roof platform, so it was always going to be the best option for us was to put up on the roof platform. There are a bunch of other mounts available though. If you don't have roof racks already, you can get suction cup mounts, magnetic mounts. I've got to say, for across the aftermarket industry, Starlink Mini must have the most accessories available for it aftermarket. So do some Googling, do some research, and figure out which is going to be the best option for you. If you're like us with roof racks, there's a bunch of options there as well, and they range massively in price and I assume massively in quality as well. I grabbed this one from Outcamp. It's a 3-piece mount, so there's a mount that goes under the dish, and then the dish locks onto that, and then it has 2 other clamps that go either side of the dish to hold it on there and to keep it stable on rough roads. I chose this one just because of its price point. At the time when I bought it, I wasn't 100% sure whether the dish was going to stay mounted on the car, so I didn't want to go and spend a bunch of money on a really expensive mount for it. I just went for a nice, cheap, easy to use one that was very simple, and so far it's holding up really, really well. It is plastic. I'm not too sure. My concerns with it would be how it's going to last in the sun and being up on the rack permanently, but time will tell. So once I figured out where to mount the dish, we've got ours just on the rack. You can't see it behind the awning, but it's just on the rack there. It was then about how to get power to it, so I ran the power cord down through here. It runs down next to the windscreen, in through the firewall, through under all the carpet in the car, and then into the back, because that's where we've got power. Now I just used, as I said, the factory cord that comes with it, which is about 15 meters long, and used the factory connection. So there was no cutting of cables or any modification required there. The next thing is then how you're going to be able to get power to the unit itself. So like I said, you can just use the 240 that it comes with, put the other end of the cord in there, plug it into a 240 point, and away you go. But for most of us, you're not going to be wanting to run an inverter to keep your Starlink powered up. And one of the big advantages to the Mini is how easy it is to convert to 12 volt. So you can just pull the cord out of this plug and then plug it into a 12 volt supply. So for us, that was to use this Cosmo Mini from Cowfish. So that is a 12 volt converter. So this is our factory cord coming down off the roof, and that goes into the back of the Cosmo there, and then it just has a power cord that goes around and goes into one of my cigarette lighter ports. So you can order that Cosmo Mini with either a SIG socket like I have. You can also get it with an Anderson plug, and you can also get it with bare wires if you're going to hardwire it. Now I'll probably will hardwire it eventually, but again, it was just let's just test it out and see how it goes, and if this is going to be our permanent setup, which it's more and more leaning towards it's going to be. So that's worked out as a really good powering solution for us, and it means that we almost leave the Starlink Mini on 24/7 because it uses such a small amount of power. We're talking only a couple of amps per hour consumed by the Mini, so it's a really, really good one, and it's by far the lowest power consumption of all the Starlinks. What I also do with it though is that you can set up a time for it to go to sleep. So I set it to go to sleep at say 10 p.m. at night, wake up again at 6 in the morning, and it automatically powers down and powers back up, which just makes life really, really simple and saves me forgetting to turn it off at night and burning a heap of power overnight when we're not using it.
Not great if you're binge watching Netflix though, is it, Dale?
It has caught me out a couple of times though when I'm up late binge watching Netflix or watching F1 late at night and the Starlink power's down, when I forget that the sleep mode's turned on. So don't forget to turn that off, and don't forget to also jump into the app and you can turn off the snow melt mode if that's already on, because that will use a heap of power that you don't really need in most locations in Australia. All right, so that's how we've powered our Starlink Mini off 12 volt. There are a few other options though. You can buy this cord from Starlink. So this is a 5-meter cord that has the Starlink plug at one end that goes into the dish, and at the other end is a USB-C, or it's meant to be. Ours is looking a bit sad. We had a little bit of an accident with ours. We had it plugged in to the Bluetti. The kids were playing with the ball. The ball hit the cord and broke the end of our USB-C plug. So I now have to go out and buy a new one of these. Why do we have one of these when we've got that solution up there? If you guys have watched some of our recent videos, you'd know that we recently went up on a yacht charter up in the Whitsundays for my 40th, and we wanted to have Starlink while we were there. And that's one of the beauties of the Mini, is we're able to put the Mini in our carry-on luggage for the flight. We took a USB-C cord with us. I also bought a cigarette light adapter that had a USB-C outlet on it, thinking that would give us internet on the yacht while we were traveling around. It didn't work, and this is something to really keep in mind if you're looking at running your Starlink off 12 volt. One is, if you're not going to use a booster like the Cowfish one up there, the Cosmo, then you're going to be limited to a 5-meter cable. That cable I'm running up there is the factory cable that the Starlink comes with, which is a 15-meter cable. If you're not going to run a booster, 5 meters is going to be your max, but you also need a high output USB-C. So like on the Bluetti, this is the Bluetti Elite 200 that we've been testing for a while, and it has helicopter going overhead. It has USB-C 100 watt outputs, and that's what you need, is a 100 watt output, which you'll find most cigarette lighter plugs won't be able to do, and most USB-C won't be that high. A lot are going to be limited in the wattage output. So you really need to make sure that either your van, your car, whatever it is, if you're going to run it through USB-C, that you've got a high output USB-C on there. So you can use, like all the Bluettis that we test all have high output USB-C, so that's one option. These are also great because they've got the battery in them, they've got the inverter. It can be a standalone power solution for not just your Starlink Mini, but you can cook off it, you can run your fridge off it, all of that jazz. They've actually got a really good deal on these at the moment as part of their end of financial year sales as well. So if you are keen, if you've been keeping your eye on this Bluetti Elite 200, like I know a lot of you have been, You can pair that with their DC-DC charger, the Charger 1 at the moment for the end of financial year sale, and that's as cheap as you will get one of those. But like I said, it's a really good option for having a high output USB-C for charging. We use it for charging camera gear and stuff as well, but for being able to charge or run your Starlink Mini. So unfortunately on our trip up to the Whitsundays on the yacht, we didn't have internet for the week because this solution didn't work, and I spent a lot of money, and now it's broken and I didn't have internet on the yacht anyway, so that was a bit of a fail. All right, so you've got your dish mounted and you figured out how you're gonna power it. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons of having your dish mounted on your vehicle like this. Pros are you can get internet in motion. So while you're driving, whether it be in and around town or out on a long drive, you've got internet 24/7 no matter what. And the big pro that for us is, well, safety is one of them, especially when you start going remote. You've got communication. I wouldn't 100% rely on it. I would still have some sort of other emergency communication. For us, that's a PLB. A whole nother topic, we'll get into that later, but if you're not sure what a PLB is, a personal locator beacon, go and do some Googling or check out some previous videos we've done. But I think it's still a great first option when it comes to safety, just having that communication. Number two is we use it a lot for navigation, being able to have live traffic updates, but also just navigate and Google and search for places on the fly as we're traveling and not have to worry about whether we got service has changed the game for us. It's been absolutely awesome. Number three is just trip planning in general. Liz in the passenger seat, or whoever if it's me in the passenger seat, pretty rarely, but if it is, able to just do some quick searching online, checking out wiki camps, all of that sort of stuff, and do trip planning on the go as we're traveling around, checking out points of interest or whatever it might be, booking in things like that as we're on the go and from almost anywhere is awesome. Can you see that bug in there or not? Number four is entertainment, primarily for the kids. Being able to watch their Netflix shows, log on to any of the online streaming, any of that sort of stuff without having to pre-download or pre-plan has been super handy as well. Some of the other pros for it for us are just the fact that it's set up and ready to go all the time, compared to even just the slight inconvenience of getting the dish out, plugging it in, powering it up, means that we've just got internet in an instant. We just literally turn the power on and within a few minutes it finds a connection and we've got it sorted. Despite the fact that it just sits flat on the roof like this, we haven't seen it really drastically affect performance. We're still getting speeds, we're in more remote areas, over 200 megabits a second, which is wildly fast, and in fact faster than anything we got from our old actuated disc that we had planted on the ground. So it is really, really good still at getting a connection, even though it's laying flat on the roof. Some things to consider though, obstructions. It is still very sensitive, like all Starlink dishes that we've tested, to obstruction. So whether that be, like now we've got the swag sitting next to it, there's trees overhead. If Liz pans up, you can have a look at the trees we've got overhead here, provides a lot of obstructions, and that affects your overall speed, but more than that, it causes a lot of dropouts and more significant dropouts. So the swags I haven't found being a huge issue despite them being so close to the dish, but it does take up a bit of room on the rack and you do have to be a little bit more careful about how you pack things on the roof. But the big thing is you often want to park in the shade or in nice shady campsites, and the trees will get in the way and affect the signal. For us, the solution for that sometimes is just take the dish down off the roof and move it out somewhere else, but it's just that extra inconvenience for that. Other cons with it being mounted permanently to the car or semi-permanently to the car is that if I take the car or Liz takes the car and whoever's left behind at camp still wants internet, the internet goes with the car, unless again we take the dish down and run it off the van, which we do some of the time, but it's just another thing to consider is that yeah, if you're not always staying as a group and at camp and someone's going to want to take the car, the internet's going to go with it. With Starlink, with all of the different dishes, there's no subscription as far as like an ongoing subscription. It's just month by month. There's no contracts or anything like that, which we see as a bit of a pro and a con. On the plus side, you can pause your subscription when you're not using the service, and it means that you're not paying for it. And if the time comes when you don't need Starlink at all anymore, there's no sort of lock-in contract. But on the flip side, there's no contract for them to maintain the price either. We've already seen one price rise since Starlink was introduced to Australia, and I'm sure we're going to see more along the lines. All right, so we're clearly massive fans of the Starlink Mini. I think it's just taken the convenience of Starlink to a whole nother level. Despite a few of those cons that we brought up there, I think it's the best option out there for travelers. But we still do have our Starlink old actuated dish with us. We almost got rid of it.
We almost did get rid of it, and Mainly the reason when we were umming and ahhing putting it back in the caravan was if something were to go wrong with our Starlink Mini, for us personally, we just rely so heavily on the internet to upload these videos to work and for the kids' schooling. We just cannot be without it for our personal needs. However, not every traveller is like that.
No.
And I think you could easily just travel Australia with the Starlink Mini,
Yep.
which if I didn't have Starlink at all and I was purchasing now, that is the way I would go.
Yep.
And I also would potentially even just invest the money to just get a new Starlink Mini.
Yeah,
So
I'd seriously consider it.
even if you already had the actuated, I think the pros are just so good.
Yeah.
But
It is.
yeah.
It is really, really good. I think the Gen 3, the newer one, the performance probably is slightly better for the most people, including us. I mean, we live on the road, we work on the road, all of that. This does it just fine for us. If you don't have Starlink yet, you can get 1 month free off your subscription or your connection. I'll put a QR code that you can scan with your phone if you're watching on telly or something, and there'll also be a link for that in the description below. Full disclosure though, if you do use that link, we also get a free month. So it's a bit of a win-win for both of us, and Elon foots the bill, so I'm all for that.
okay, I think he's got the money.
Yeah,
I think he can afford it.
I think he'll be okay, although Tesla's not doing so well lately. But anyway, we're not going to go into that. These Starlink videos,
That's a whole nother video.
they always stir up a political hornet's nest, and we're certainly not going to dive into that. We've done enough of that lately. Yes, so if you haven't got Starlink, feel free to use that, and we would really appreciate it if you do so. So look, let us know what you think. Have you got Starlink Mini? Have you tried Starlink Mini? Are you thinking about getting it? Is there any questions or concerns you've got about it that we haven't raised in this video? Leave a comment below. I'll be down in those comments getting back to everyone that asks a question. Apologies if I don't get back to every single person on every single video. It's something I pride myself on, and I am slipping of late. We are just getting inundated with comments, but we're doing our best to catch up and keep up with all your comments. But we love them, so even if I don't get back to you, I'll just give it.
We
do appreciate it. I'll give it a like or something. We'll click on it just to let you know that we've read it. But yeah, I can't. I just, unfortunately, I'm running short of time to get back to all of you, which is an awesome problem to have. We do appreciate all those comments. Look, if you enjoy videos like this one, we are going to be getting back into the travel content very soon, so stick with us for that. We're getting set up at the moment.
We should tell them about the show. Yeah, so the Brisbane show, the Brisbane Caravan Show,
Super
it's
show or
4th
something.
to the 8th of June. We're actually going to be talking live on stage each day, so that'll be on the program, what time we're on stage, and we'll also be on the titanium stand with our caravan. Please come say good day. We'd love you to come and have a good sticky beak. Ask us any questions you want about anything.
We'll be there all 5 days with the kids. It's going to be chaos, but come and join us in on the chaos. And yeah, like Liz said, 1 hour each day, we're going to be up on the Van Jam stage. But until then, if we don't see you at the Brisbane show, we'll see you next Sunday. We did it again.
Amazing.
It's like you know when I'm going to do it. All right. I think that's a video.
I don't know. Do I need to
I've got to
come
stand back here so my head's in the shot. Otherwise,
okay.
I can't stand up here with you, or my eyes aren't even in the
Well,
shot.
normally I have to stand in front of you.